lovely people, it's your girl Obaa Yaa. If you're new to my channel, I say welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning back in. In today's video, I want to talk about how to deal with breakage. So if you are interested in knowing what to do when you're experiencing a lot of breakage, then stay tuned. So now, without any further ado, let's dive right into this video. First thing I think you should do when you realize that your hair is breaking off excessively is to analyze your regimen, is to assess your regimen and to observe the things that you're doing. Reflect on the things that you have been doing so far. Maybe you incorporated something new that is hurting your hair, or maybe you stopped doing something that you've been doing that was working for you. Maybe you've not been as gentle with your hair as you used to be. Sometimes in the beginning of our hair journey, we tend to be more gentle with our hair. Sometimes we take our time when dealing with our hair, but as the years go by, as time goes by, we start to fall in a routine, and then we fall in the habit of not appreciating our hair or starting to take our hair for granted, and then of course we pay the price by experiencing more breakage because we stop doing, or we stop viewing our hair as precious as we did like when we first started. So those might be the things that could cause your hair to break. And then once you have found out the things that you have stopped doing, or the things that you are doing that is hurting your hair, then you can stop, or you can start to re-implement the things again. Because of having too much buildup on your hair, you might find that your hair is not reacting the way it's supposed to. If you find that your hair is not reacting the way that it used to, then it could be that it's suffering from buildup, and then it might be time for you to clarify your hair. Clarifying your hair can just reset your hair. It's like factory reset. It's like a clean canvas that you can paint on again. So that's what happens when you clarify your hair. You can strip your hair from everything, but you have to be careful because over clarifying your hair can also dry out your hair, because you're really stripping your hair from everything, and then you have to replenish everything again, like moisture, because your hair is going to be drier once you clarify your hair. So you have to follow up with a deep conditioning treatment so that your hair will be replenished again. It is very important to make sure that your hair is moisturized. You have to always be on top of your moisturizing game. Kinky hair tends to be drier compared to other types of hair. Because of the nature of our kinks and our coils and our curls, it's difficult for sebum to travel down the hair shaft, which is why our strands is left dry. It's thirsty, so we always have to make sure to give it moisture. If your hair is lacking moisture, your hair will dry out, and then it starts to be brittle, and then it breaks off. So if your hair is breaking off excessively, and it's not because of clarifying your hair, it's not because of the regimen, then maybe you have to incorporate more moisture. You have not determined your porosity level yet, so you might be moisturizing your hair incorrectly. So for instance, someone with low porosity hair like myself, I do not have to moisturize my hair as frequently as someone who has high porosity hair. For some people, the level of porosity can be very high porosity or very low porosity, or in the middle. If you're in the medium, you might be having more of a high porosity tendencies, or you might be having a low porosity tendency. But that is something that you have to find out by observing your hair. So depending on that, you might have to moisturize your hair more if you have, for instance, high porosity hair. And depending on how high your porosity is, you might have to moisturize your hair frequently or multiple times in a day to keep your hair really happy and moisturized. So that is something that you have to find out. You have to really observe your hair to find out how frequently you have to moisturize your hair. How long can you go without moisturizing your hair before it starts to feel dry? And of course, with moisturizing your hair, you have to find the balance between moisture and protein. So it might be that your hair is breaking off because you're lacking protein. Protein is the structure that holds the hair. It's like when you think about a house, when they're building the house, there are structures in the house that is keeping it intact. And if the house is lacking the structure, you'll find that the house collapses. And the same thing happens with our natural hair. If you are missing protein, there is no structure to your hair, so your hair will just break off because it can't hold itself together. Moisture alone can't hold your hair and it will break. So you have to find the balance between moisture and protein. It's very important to have the moisture protein balance, because having too much moisture will leave your hair dry, even though that sounds very off, but that's just the way it is. Maybe you purchased the wrong type of product for your hair and that product doesn't contain enough moisture for your hair, or it's not sealing your hair well enough, or it might be too heavy for your hair, or it might be too light for your hair. All these things depend, of course, on your hair type. Every issue that you might be facing or encountering with regards to your hair, especially when it comes to moisture issues or breakage, it always boils down to your hair type. So it's very, very important to know your hair. So if you know your hair, whether it's high porosity, whether you have thicker hair strands, whether you have fine hair strands, it's easier for you to determine the kind of products that you need for your hair. You wouldn't go in blind and just go and grab anything that you find in the store, but you would make a calculated decision when it comes to purchasing a product. I know that my hair is low porosity, but I also know that I have a lot of fine strands and also a lot of medium strands. I have a combination of fine and medium hair strands. I also know that I have different kinds of curl patterns in my hair. I have tighter curls, I have looser curls. So I know all this. That came with years and years of observing my hair. You might not know this right off the bat, but you have to give yourself the time. You have to be dedicated and actually be willing to know your hair, so that when it comes to purchasing a product for your hair, you will grab the right thing and not get a product that is actually inhibiting your hair's health. Leave your hair alone. Just let your hair do what it wants to do. I don't mean that you should just leave your hair out and about and let the wind blow it to the left and let the wind blow it to the right and just let it be free, really. No, that is not what I mean. It's very important to leave your hair in low manipulation styles or protective styles from time to time, where you don't have your hands constantly in your hair, because always putting your hands in your hair, combing here, styling your hair there and there, here and there, can cause breakage. And then you might see that because you're over manipulating your hair, it can lead to breakage. Always make it a habit that if you realize that you've had your hair out for too long, or you've had your hands in your hair for too often, that you give your hair a break. You give yourself and your hair a break by putting your hair in a long-term protective style. It doesn't have to be 8 weeks, it doesn't have to be 6 weeks. Even 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks is enough to give your hair that break. And then you can also do it back to back. That means you can have your hair in twists for 2 weeks, and then from that twist you can wear your hair out in a twist out, which is a low manipulation style. And then from there you can transition into a bun. So you're alternating, you're having the benefit of not having the same hairstyle for a long period of time, because I know some people get bored with wearing the same style. So but then you also enjoy the benefit of changing styles. So you're having twists for 2 weeks, and then, or 1 week, and then the following week you wear a twist out, and then from there you can put your hair in a bun, so you don't get bored. That is why people always might find issues, because they're constantly changing their hair because of boredom, because of wearing the same hairstyle. But if you do something like what I described, then you might limit the feeling of being bored or being stuck with one hairstyle. So guys, I hope this video helped you a lot and you could find value. Yes, I hope you find value in it. And if you did, don't forget to like, to subscribe if you haven't already, and also to turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you again in the next one. Stay blessed, stay healthy, and stay safe. It is your girl, Obaa Yaa, Obaa Yaa, Obaa Yaa, Obaa Yaa. Bye. You don't know what it's like to have somebody to deal with breakage, no.